Chiri, Switzerland, October 5, 1994. Firefighters are dispatched to a house fire in a quiet alpine village. When they enter what appears to be an ordinary residence, they find a scene straight out of a ritual horror film. 23 bodies arranged in a perfect circle, burned, dressed in ceremonial robes with hoods over their heads. In the center of the circle, a child. A 7-year-old boy with a gunshot wound to the head. In the basement, another 25 bodies. Some were shot, others poisoned. All belong to the same organization, the Order of the Solar Temple. Some of the bodies showed signs of close-range execution. Others were lying calmly, hands folded as if in prayer. The surveillance cameras inside the house had been destroyed. The doors were locked from the inside. That same day, over 5,000 kilometers away, in Morin Heights, Canada, another fire breaks out. In the ashes, investigators find 5 more bodies, all linked to the same cult, all dead within hours of each other. The world is introduced to an elite secretive sect whose members carried out a mass suicide, or were forced into one. And this was only the beginning. The Order of the Solar Temple, officially Ordre du Temple Solaire, OTS, was founded in 1984 in Geneva. Its co-founders were Joseph Di Mambro and Luc Jouret. Di Mambro was a jeweler and esotericist with ties to Rosicrucian groups. Jouret was a Belgian homeopath, lecturer, public speaker, and former military officer. The sect claimed to be the spiritual successor of the Knights Templar, blending elements of astrology, New Age beliefs, and occultism. They preached the coming end of the cycle and the preparation of the chosen for a mystical transition to a higher dimension, the star Sirius. Members believed their souls would leave Earth and unite with a divine consciousness. The order had a strict hierarchical structure, composed of commanders, brothers of light, and adepts. Di Mambro was the ultimate spiritual authority. Jouret served as the charismatic public face of the movement. The sect operated legally, registered as a religious association in Switzerland, France, and Canada. Members were recruited primarily from among professionals, doctors, architects, businessmen, even government officials. In exchange for access to the cosmic truth, many donated their entire fortunes. Di Mambro claimed that his daughter, Elodie, had been conceived through mystical means and was the messiah of a new age. The child was to play a key role in the order's final transition to the next world. At its peak, the order had around 500 members across 3 continents. Luc Jouret held public lectures, warning of civilizational collapse, Western spiritual decay, and an impending energetic shift on the planet. He blended pseudoscience with mystical language, convincing listeners that only the order could prepare them for the coming transition. New recruits underwent initiation rituals in sealed rooms, lights, smoke, mysterious voices, and symbols. These were not mystical events. They were carefully staged illusions, crafted with theatrical effects. Everything was designed to generate spiritual awe and reinforce the authority of the leaders. Initiates were required to make sacrificial offerings, sometimes in the form of money, sometimes by transferring property. In return, they received truth, ritual guidance, and the promise of salvation. Di Mambro personally decided who was ready and who still needed to mature. Most believed. A few began to doubt. Some tried to leave. And that's when the deaths began. In the Order of the Solar Temple, rituals were everything. Daily life didn't exist, only the path to the light of Sirius. Ceremonies took place in underground chambers, hotel basements, secluded houses, even modified bunkers. These spaces were decorated with Templar symbolism: red crosses on white cloth, golden chalices, candles arranged in geometric patterns. On the walls, esoteric emblems of suns and stars. At the center, the image of Sirius, the mystical source of light. During the ceremonies, members wore ceremonial robes, often white or red with hoods. The rituals were choreographed to perfection. Mambro and his inner circle used sound effects, hidden speakers, lighting tricks, and staged apparitions. During messages from Sirius, a voice would echo from the darkness. In reality, it was pre-recorded and played on tape. One of the most disturbing rituals was the birth ceremony of the divine child. Mambro claimed his daughter Elodie had been conceived outside the physical realm and was the messiah of a new age. Her birth was treated as a cosmic event, staged in a closed setting with full theatrical production. Members believed they were part of something greater than life, that they had been chosen to receive sacred truth, that this wasn't religion, it was a mission, spiritual and planetary. In reality, they were being manipulated, slowly, deliberately, led toward death. The first sign that the Order of the Solar Temple was more than just a spiritual community came in 1993. Tony Dutoit, a former member, publicly cut ties with the organization and its leaders. He moved to Canada with his wife and their 3-month-old son. In August that year, all 3 were brutally murdered. Tony was stabbed to death. His wife, Giselle, suffered multiple stab wounds. Their infant son, Emmanuel, was killed in his crib, stabbed more than 50 times. The killers were members of the Order, acting on Joseph Mambro's orders. Why? Mambro believed the child threatened the spiritual role of his own daughter, Elodie. According to him, the Dutoit baby had a corrupted soul and posed an energetic danger to the Order's divine plan. Canadian authorities dismissed the spiritual context. They treated the case as a domestic dispute. The Order continued its operations, unchallenged. At the same time, more people connected to the sect began to die. Those who tried to leave were found dead, some by apparent suicide. Notes spoke of spiritual overwhelm, energetic pain, and being unable to live outside the light. Some vanished without a trace. Others died in staged accidents, cars off cliffs, bodies in rivers. Internal documents from the Order made it clear. Those who betrayed were considered threats to the planet and the light, and threats had to be eliminated, silently, efficiently. This was not a religion. It was a death cult, wearing white gloves. October 5th, 1994, Switzerland. In 2 separate locations, Chiri and Salvan, coordinated mass deaths of Order of the Solar Temple members take place, officially labeled ritual suicides. In reality, executions carried out with military precision. In Chiri, 23 bodies are found arranged in a circle. Some were poisoned with barbiturates, others shot. The bodies were burned. Among the ashes, investigators find documents declaring the group's transition to Sirius, a spiritual liberation from the physical world. In the basement of the same building, 25 more victims. Most were shot. Some had plastic bags over their heads, signs of suffocation. Investigators conclude that several were likely held against their will. They were murdered. Hours later in Salvan, more homes burn. 5 more bodies. Again, ceremonial robes, goodbye letters. One letter reads, "Earth is no longer our home. The time of passage has come." That same day in Canada, Mambro's property in Morin Heights is consumed by fire. Inside, 5 bodies, including Joseph Mambro and his 12-year-old daughter Elodie, both shot before the blaze. Nearby, 2 gas cans, a lighter, and the same candle formation as in Switzerland. Investigators confirm all deaths were pre-planned, executed according to the leader's instructions. No accidents, no free will, only doctrine and orders. But it didn't stop there. In 1995, in France's Isère region, another house goes up in flames. Inside, 16 bodies. And in 1997, deep in the French Alps, 5 more. In total, 74 people died as part of the Order's transition to Sirius. Most were murdered by fellow members. It was a mass death operation, planned, coordinated, justified as spiritual ascension. It wasn't salvation. It was extermination. After the wave of mass deaths between 1994 and 1997, investigators managed to locate only a few surviving members of the Order of the Solar Temple. Most claimed they had no knowledge of the planned transitions. They insisted they had been manipulated or excluded from the inner circle. But the investigation revealed a different truth. Some survivors were financiers of the sect. Others handled organizational roles. They knew the rituals. They had signed oaths of secrecy. A few admitted they had been aware of the coming deaths, but were too afraid to act. Inside the order, there was a concept known as the energetic backlash, a spiritual punishment for disobedience. Court proceedings in Switzerland and France revealed that the order functioned like a clandestine operation. Encrypted messages, role divisions, coded language, secret initiations. Many witnesses refused to testify publicly. To this day, authorities have not recovered all the order's funds. Estimates suggest millions remain hidden in accounts in Luxembourg and the Caribbean. Many former members are still alive. Some have changed their names. Others, their entire lives. The Order of the Solar Temple may have officially dissolved, but some believe its remnants still operate, under new names, in new forms, with the same beliefs. Among the ashes of the homes in Cheery, Salvin, and Morin Heights, investigators discovered letters. They were signed by Joseph Dumambro and Luc Jouret. Described as spiritual testaments, they were, in truth, a manifesto of death. The earth is entering an age of chaos. The saved will pass through the gate of Sirius. Death is only the illusion of matter. Transition is liberation. Those who remain are already dead. These were not personal farewells. They were execution orders, meticulously written. The documents included instructions, how to position the bodies, when to ignite the fires, what final messages to leave behind, even the music to play during the ritual. Dumambro wrote about cleansing the planet of unprepared souls. Salvation was meant only for the chosen. Those who doubted had no right to live. Among the writings was mention of future waves of transition and a chilling warning. When Sirius dims for the world, you will step out of the shadows. Experts later called it a spiritual suicide operation, scripted like a military campaign, precise, cold, and executed with absolute obedience. Dumambro didn't believe he was dying. He believed he was ascending, and he took with him everyone he could control. After the deaths of Dumambro and Jouret, the world believed the Order of the Solar Temple had vanished, but darkness casts long shadows. In 2006, French police discovered the body of a man with a plastic bag over his head. Next to him, a handwritten note. The gate is opening again. This was not an isolated case. Today, you might wonder, has the Templar cult returned? The answer may lie on the other side of the world. In the United States, authorities recently exposed the existence of a group called the Zizians, a neo-Nazi apocalyptic cult linked to a series of murders between 2022 and 2025, including the killing of a border patrol agent and violent crimes in remote areas of California. Their leader, known only as Ziz, wrote of heroic responsibility and the coming apocalypse. The group operated like a cult, with secret codes, oaths, and ritualized executions. The structure, methods, and psychological control over followers, all of it feels familiar. The Order of the Solar Temple wasn't the first death cult, and it won't be the last. Has the Templar sect been reborn under another name? Is Sirius still burning in someone's mind somewhere? Because where belief survives, so does the threat. And in the silence, new massacres, new victims, new whispered summons may already be stirring. If you felt a chill while listening, subscribe and join Duskwoven. Hit subscribe now. More shadows are waiting.